Computer graphics is our everything. It is impossible to imagine modern comic book movies without it, and in a lot of ways, it made them gain such popularity. Even making Samuel L. Jackson lose 30 years isn't a problem for the industry professionals. Today, we aren't going to discuss boring theories and breakdowns. We are going to dive into the wondrous world of graphics in the MCU and mostly talk about scenes which you probably didn't know contained CGI. For example, did you know that almost the entirety of Iron Man 3 was shot without Robert Downey Jr.? We recommend sitting down. For this video, we have plenty more mind-blowing facts. But first things first, let's decide whether or not Avengers Endgame deserves an Oscar for visual effects down. And while you are leaving your comments below, we're going to time jump to 2012. Iron Man 3 production is well underway, and Robert Downey Jr. injures his knee. Remember how many action scenes in the movie involve Tony without his costume? Tons. Not having the lead star on set for 6 weeks was a huge problem. The obvious solution was to delay the premiere of the feature. But that would mean losing box office money, because the movie had a great slot. Limping Downey Jr. was eager to continue filming, but he physically couldn't, and the graphic designers suggested a neat solution. They created a new Robert with Blackjack and Black Widows. Like any self-respecting actor, Downey had a double with similar body structure that learned to behave like the actor. This time he had to break sweat. This poor lad had to shoot lots of scenes while Robert was laying around at home with his injury. But the hard work paid off. The shoot ended in time, and the rest of the work was done during post-production. Almost the entirety of the final battle, and some action scenes around the midpoint of the movie. The final scene where Tony throws the reactor in the ocean was made completely without the real actor. It is the result of only the doubles and the CGI team's work. Just a quick reminder, the third movie about Stark was shot in 2013. Back then, this production decision was revolutionary. Only somewhat similar technique was used to create the skinny version of Cap for his origin story. But the amount of work was much less, and the audience was aware of the use of CGI. Iron Man 3 didn't have the same privilege. However, no one in the cinema caught on to the trick. Moreover, it is nearly impossible to notice even on the digital copy. You can try watching the final scene in slow motion knowing that you're looking at a fake Robert. Then you will notice some blurriness. Where did this technological progress go in the final battle scene of Black Panther with this cartoonish PlayStation 2 graphics? We don't know. But one thing we do know is that Marvel didn't lose its grip. After all, a similar situation occurred during the production of Infinity War. Fortunately, this time no one was injured, but Battlefield Overwatch simply couldn't make it to the set on time. And given the number of stars in the project, filming couldn't have been delayed, and Marvel once again found a double and edited Benedict's face onto his later. Aaron Lazar, a Broadway star, soundly acted out all of Steven's body movements in several scenes. Rumor has it that everything that happened on Ebony Maw's ship was shot this way, and no one spotted the difference. For a long time now, action scenes didn't even need stunt doubles. For Iron Man 3, none of Tony's costumes were actually built. All of them were made using computer graphics, even in scenes where Tony's just standing or sitting on the couch. Same goes for Spider-Man's suits in Infinity War. Iron Spider armor doesn't exist, and that chest plate Robert is seen wearing in the behind-the-scenes photos is just to give a reference point to artists so they know where to place the costume. It's been long since Marvel used actual props and effects. Is it good or bad? That's something everyone decided for themselves. As for us, we have more facts for you. Remember the bad guy from Ant-Man's first solo film? Well, Yellow Jacket never existed. There was never even a rough version of the costume for close-ups and static shots. Every frame with the villain you see is totally and completely animated. It's hard to believe that such high-quality special effects are possible with $130 million budget of the movie. And it goes without saying that the Hulk has been made using the same technology for a long time. But I don't think that really surprised you. So we should move on to more subtle and fun uses of computer graphics. Let's revisit the epic trailer for Civil War, where for the first time we are shown the Black Panther. You would think it's a simple character in terms of graphics. He doesn't fly, and his black costume is a piece of cake. Why bother using CGI? Well, in reality, every single scene with T'Challa in Civil War is made on a computer. The Russo brothers claim they tried shooting real footage, but apparently there wasn't enough equipment on set to light the scene in the way that they wanted. creating anything close to their vision was impossible, so during post-production, they scrapped everything and made the entire suit CGI. Want to know more? Sometimes the cruel hands of visual artists don't stop at costumes and modify bodies and even faces of actors. Remember the most epic scene from Ragnarok? Thor's landing on the Rainbow Bridge. Chris Hemsworth really earned his paycheck. He did the stunt himself, only for it to then be replaced by an animated copy in post-production. Even the close-up contains only part of the actor's face. Eyes, hair, and everything else that is glowing in the scene is not Chris. According to the head of the special effects department, in the final version of the scene, there is little to none of the actual actor. What you see is a computer clone made with cutting-edge technology. Experts jokingly say that even the director didn't know how extensive the use of CGI was in the picture. Taika Waititi, like many of his colleagues, tried to shoot as much material as possible and use it in the film. But the harsh truth is, a computer copy will look better no matter what. And most of the epic final battle on the Rainbow Bridge was never shot at all. It's a hyper-realistic cartoon. And in the frames that made it into the movie, actors are just fighting emptiness. So, to be honest, it's not Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse that should have gotten the Oscar for Best Animation. Most of the real-life footage is just used as reference by artists who redraw everything that happens. However, we should specify that Marvel is sometimes forced to use CGI. For example, in Homecoming, Tom Holland did an incredible job and performed a lot of the stunts himself. Even the scene where Spidey climbs up the Washington Monument was originally supposed to be filmed live on the actual obelisk, but this never became a reality. They couldn't get a permission, so in the end, they built their own monument part by part, shot scenes on each one, and edited them together, and then added views of the city to make it look realistic. A very similar situation occurred during the filming period of Avengers. Originally, the team had several weeks to work in New York, but later that number was cut down to only 3 days. It's hard to make arrangements for a thorough filming from helicopters in one of the most densely populated cities in the world. That's why all the backgrounds of the final battle was made on a computer. Photographers took pictures in places where the movie was set, along with shots of office windows from San Francisco and videos from cars. As a result, the fake New York is identical to the original. And we mean identical. Even the little details like street turns and small buildings were drawn. When comparing the two, you will not spot a single difference. In the same battle, some moments had to be edited due to the director's vision. During the most iconic scene of the MCU, where Avengers are standing in a circle preparing for battle, Captain America was fighting in the distance. But during post-production, Joss Whedon decided that this wasn't right. The team digitally placed Steve next to Tony, creating one of the coolest scenes in cinema's history. We don't think it was ever a secret, but a significant part of Black Widow's action scenes didn't even use a double. They were also completely animated. In the recent years, movie makers realized that it's easier to draw even commonplace details of the background than to film them. Let's take, for example, the airport scene from Civil War. Graphics supervisor bluntly stated that 99% of planes and vehicles in the background weren't really there. They were rendered on a computer to save extra time, so most of the battle was shot in front of a green screen. Not only that, they didn't even bother to film the characters. Most were just scanned and redrawn. So, alright, we are being a little harsh on the directors. To be fair, the Russo brothers always try to film at least something. Second movie about Cap is a classic example of their creativity. Like Christopher Nolan, they shot everything live using graphics just to spice things up. Even in Civil War, they tried to do some things. In the scene where Cap is holding a helicopter, CGI helped but didn't replace the actor. Chris Evans even hurt his biceps while trying to portray true emotions on screen. Modern technology makes anything possible, even making Samuel L. Jackson 30 years younger in Captain Marvel. And it's as simple as that. The actor is put in a special booth where tens of cameras record every cell of his body, where tens of cameras read every cell of his body. Even the muscle movements are stored in the computer's memory. Frankly speaking, Marvel invites the actor to the set just to be nice. If they wanted, they could easily animate everything themselves. We're being a little bit overdramatic. But remember young Princess Leia from Star Wars. She was made on a computer. Lucasfilm now records faces of all their actors for potential use in the future. For its use of computer graphics, the MCU is under a deluge of criticism. Because the reality is that Infinity War and Endgame are high-tech cartoons. Actors, costumes, backgrounds, all of it is graphics. And blockbusters of such magnitude can be shot in one green screen room. Close-up shots aren't hard to film, but when it comes to money, graphics is still cheaper. Mickey Mouse is famous for holding back money, so we can't blame Marvel for using the cheapest ways to film. That's all, folks! Looking forward to see you again!